History is filled with tales of mighty emperors and valiant kings, rulers who led vast armies and conquered sprawling empires. We imagine them on majestic steeds, charging into battle, the very picture of courage. But what if one of the most powerful emperors in the world, a man who commanded legions, was secretly terrified of a horse? Today, we're diving into the curious and comical tale of Emperor Akbar Jr., the ruler of a great empire who couldn't stand the sight of the saddle. Imagine this: Emperor Akbar Jr. inherits a vast and powerful kingdom. His treasury overflows with gold, his palaces are architectural marvels, and his armies are the envy of every neighboring realm. His infantry is disciplined, his archers are unmatched, and his elephant corps is a terrifying force of nature. But then there's the cavalry, the pride of his father's army, a sea of thousands of the finest war horses. And our dear emperor? He wants absolutely nothing to do with them. From a young age, Akbar Jr. had an unexplainable fear of horses. No one knows where it came from. Perhaps a pony nipped him as a child, or maybe he was spooked by a sudden ache. Whatever the cause, the result was the same, a full-blown phobia. While other princes were learning to gallop and joust, young Akbar was finding creative excuses to be anywhere but the royal stables. He feigned a sudden illness, claimed he had urgent scholarly duties, or even hide in the palace kitchens, preferring the heat of the ovens to the presence of a pony. As he grew and ascended the throne, this little problem became a much bigger one. An emperor was expected to review his troops, lead parades, and, most importantly, command his cavalry. How could he do that when the mere sight of a horse made his palms sweat and his knees knock together? His first attempt was, let's say, unconventional. During a grand military parade, instead of riding a magnificent white stallion at the head of his cavalry, Emperor Akbar Jr. appeared perched atop his favorite royal elephant, Maharaja. Imagine the scene. The cavalry, thousands of riders in gleaming armor, sit poised on their powerful horses, and leading them, wobbling slightly on a giant, slow-moving elephant, is their emperor. He waves awkwardly, trying to look regal, while the horses snort impatiently and the generals exchange confused glances. The soldiers, ever loyal, tried to pretend this was perfectly normal. A bold new strategy. One might whisper, the emperor's elevated position gives him a superior tactical view. Another would suggest, trying to convince himself. But the truth was, it just looked ridiculous. The court, of course, noticed. The Grand Vizier, a wise and loyal man named Karim, knew he had to do something. He couldn't have the emperor of the known world looking like he was afraid to get off his elephant. So began a series of secret, and often hilarious, attempts to cure the emperor's equinophobia. Their first plan was gradual exposure. They started small. Karim brought a single, beautiful, hand-drawn portrait of a horse into the throne room. The moment Akbar saw it, he yelped and hid behind his throne. The portrait was quickly removed. Plan A failed. Next, they tried what they called positive association. The royal chefs were instructed to bake horse-shaped cookies, hoping the emperor would associate the animal with delicious treats. Akbar took one bite, realized what it was shaped like, and promptly lost his appetite for the rest of the day. Plan B also failed. The court gestures were even broadened. They performed skits where they pretended to be clumsy, silly horses, tripping over their own feet and telling bad jokes. The emperor laughed, but the moment a real horse was mentioned, his smile vanished. Things came to a head when a rival king, hearing whispers of the emperor's odd habit, sent him a gift, a spectacular, fiery black stallion named Shadowfax. It was a diplomatic power move, a challenge disguised as a present. Now, Akbar couldn't refuse. He had to at least pretend to appreciate the gift. The presentation ceremony was a masterclass in awkwardness. The entire court gathered in the main courtyard. Shadowfax was led out, a magnificent creature, muscles gleaming, eyes intelligent and wild. Emperor Akbar Jr., meanwhile, was trying to become one with the marble pillar he was standing behind. He peeked out, took one look at the stallion, and visibly shuddered. His generals, desperate to save face, began loudly praising the horse. Such powerful legs. Your Majesty, shouted one. The back of a true champion, yelled another. Akbar just nodded, weakly inching further behind the pillar. Karim, the Grand Vizier, finally stepped forward and announced that the emperor was so overwhelmed by the horse's beauty that he needed a moment to compose himself. A likely story. That night, Akbar summoned his most trusted advisors. "This has gone on long enough," he declared, his voice trembling slightly. "I rule the greatest empire, yet I am a prisoner of this four-legged fear. We must find a solution." This led to the most ambitious plan yet, Operation Royal Decoy. The royal carpenter and tailor were commissioned to build a life-sized, hollow wooden horse on wheels. It was beautifully crafted, painted to look realistic, and even had a saddle. The idea was for the emperor to practice sitting on this stationary wooden horse until he felt comfortable. For weeks, under the cover of darkness, Emperor Akbar Jr. would secretly practice in the royal gardens. He'd be carefully lifted onto the wooden horse, his guards pushing it gently back and forth. At first, even this was too much, but slowly, he got used to it. He learned to hold the reins, to sit upright in the saddle, and to not faint every time he looked down. He even started to enjoy the gentle rolling motion. He was conquering his fear, one wooden wheel at a time. The real test came during the annual Spring Festival. It was tradition for the emperor to lead a procession through the city on horseback. This time, Akbar was determined to do it right. He spent the morning in deep meditation. When he emerged, he walked, not towards his elephant, but towards the royal stables. The entire court held its breath. Karim had chosen the gentlest, calmest mare in the entire empire, a sweet-tempered horse named Daisy. Akbar approached her slowly. He reached out a trembling hand and patted her neck. The mare just blinked calmly. Taking a deep breath, with the help of two nervous stable hands, he mounted the horse. He did it. Emperor Akbar Jr. was sitting on a real, live horse. He was stiff as a board, his knuckles white as he gripped the reins, but he was there. A quiet cheer went through the assembled courtiers. He rode Daisy slowly, just for a few minutes, round the palace courtyard. It may have been the shortest, slowest royal procession in history, but for the emperor, it was a greater victory than any battle he could ever win. He never became a natural horseman. You wouldn't find him charging into battle or winning any jousting tournaments. He still preferred his elephant for long journeys, but he could now review his cavalry without hiding, and he could ride in a parade without needing a wooden decoy. His secret was safe, and his dignity was restored. The story of Emperor Akbar Jr. reminds us that even the most powerful people have their own hidden fears and secret struggles. His tale isn't one of battlefield glory, but of a different kind of courage, the courage to face your fears, even if it's one wobbly, terrifying step or one wooden horse at a time. It shows us that true strength isn't about never being afraid, it's about what you do when you are. Thanks for watching our journey into this quirky corner of history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales you won't find in the history books. See you next time.